The story behind me finding and work, it was so very challenging, especially when you're coming from the township.
At least 40% of South African youth drop out of school before completing matric. Because of multiple factors, these young people are extremely vulnerable, disconnected from social and economic support, disengaged from the labour market, and too often fall into the gaps between education, training, and employment.
We know from a lot of research, both internationally and nationally, that the longer young people remain in that state of what we refer to as needs, not in education, employment, or training, the higher their chances of remaining trapped in that state and therefore remaining trapped in poverty and of becoming trapped in a vicious cycle of mental ill health and then the inability to move forward and get their lives on track.
Many youth don't have social and economic networks that enable them to connect in with any opportunities, so that's a challenge.
What South African youth should be told from a young age is that there's power in education. They should have a lot of engagement with the young student, with the young people, just to tell them the value of education and the value of going into the workplace with the right mentality and understanding what's being asked of you instead of waiting for handouts every single time. You understand? Like, we should be taught to be go-getters. If there's no way to, if you're at a dead end, find another way and, keep the cycle going.
The information gap, that is a real challenge. People aren't aware about, is there jobs available? How do we go about getting employed? What documentation is needed? In what format it should be? What is the process? So that is a challenge that I know of that a lot of youth are facing.
Inspired by the European Youth Guarantee and contextualized to a South African environment, the Basic Package of Support is a multi-stakeholder initiative to provide a relevant and holistic package of support for youth. Its goal is to provide them with problem-solving tools and link them to opportunities that can enhance their progress in life.
It's certainly one of the most strategic and innovative programs that we've tried to put together.
And one of the fundamental contributions I think the BPSY can make is to work from the reality of young people's lived experiences, to create mechanisms to support them and to invest in their potential by looking at them holistically, their mental health, their physical health, their skills base.
One of the key advantages of this system is that it will allow a young person to actually co-create or co-design their future, giving them a sense of hope. At the moment, they feel very lost because they can't access the economy. They're very marginalized.
It's difficult to get into school in my age, especially when you're a dropout. But then it's once you start to go through the processes, and then it makes me easy. But for another young person who's not active like me, it's so difficult to go back to school. That's why they stay outside of school.
I think it's also about giving young people that opportunity that they never had before, or that they didn't know existed before. And also about bringing them in a safe space so that they feel heard, that they feel like they can contribute towards society. It's just about providing that sense of hope and sense of discovery about themselves and really finding out who they are as young people and what they need to do to actually thrive and not just like survive in this world.
I think it's time for the government not to decide what we need as a youth. The government needs to include us when they're making those changes. They need to include us when they're making those policies so that we can be part of the statements and the policies that they made. We need to be there when the decisions are made and the policies are being changed.
A key factor contributing to the success of the Basic Package of Support for Youth is that young people have been involved from the start, from the design through to implementation.
As young people, we should be the front runners of whatever ideas that we have. We should promote everybody in one room speaking one voice, led by young people. Then we are able to get what we want. If young people can lead protests, why can't we lead productive dialogues?